Yo, hello everyone. In the next minutes I'm gonna show you everything you need to know about mines in the game, and on top of it some really advanced strategies that basically no one in the world knows or uses. The first 2 minutes are gonna be some basic introduction, and afterwards you're gonna see in-game footage that shows and depicts every single intricacy there is to using mines. Now, in general, mines come quite late, around level 15 and 20, and if you want to get them, you go to logistics, equipment, and there you see first an anti-tank mine, and afterwards 1 or 2 levels later you unlock the anti-personnel mine. As you can see, they're extremely expensive. They cost 2 silver. Some of the best weapons in the game cost 2 silver, so they're really expensive. And well, unlike a normal weapon, you will rarely see them or use them, and you will also rarely, well, see them triggered by an enemy. So obviously, before you buy them, get yourself normal weapons first. In order to buy them, choose a campaign and faction you really like and you play a lot, and then start equipping your army with it. Now, the most important and most efficient way to use them is give one anti-tank mine first to every single squad, and then if you buy a second mine, give a second mine to every single squad, also anti-tank mine, and afterwards start using anti-personnel mines. The reason for that are two things. A, anti-tank mines much more impactful than anti-personnel mines. So for the same cost and for the same opportunity cost in-game, because you obviously have to run around, find a good spot, you will get much more performance. A, you destroy a whole enemy tank, which is a whole squad. And B, well, you get lots of kills. Like especially for the experience that you get, much better to blow up a tank, especially after the recent vehicle kill bonus, because you get kills, you get points for every single soldier you kill, and you get points for the vehicle you killed itself, and you get the additional vehicle bonus points. So you get a lot of points. So you absolutely want to blow up tanks, not really single soldiers. And in a real game you won't have time to drop all of your mines. So make sure you give your mines to the squad leader that you use first every time you spawn a squad. Now if you want to be a really good player, it has to be an engineer, so you can always build a ready point quickly. And well, the second soldiers that you rotate to from your first soldier also should have a second mine, the second mine in your squad, also an anti-tank mine. Only then I have random anti-personnel mines for random soldiers sniping, basically. Now, for those who think, but I also want to kill infantry, well, as you're gonna see now in the next videos, you can actually kill infantry with your anti-tank mines. So these anti-tank mines are absolutely worth it, because not only do they kill tanks, which is immensely impactful by itself, they also can kill infantry. So let's see how we do it. Now here we see the 3 most important basic ways of using mines. First, identify enemy mines. Now every mine that doesn't look like your own mine obviously is an enemy mine, and every mine that doesn't have a white icon over it blinking, which shows that it's your mine, is also an enemy mine. So here we found an enemy mine and we're gonna shoot it from a safe distance so we don't get blown up. Now the next way is you want to drop your own mines. Now first of all, find a good spot. This is a great spot because A, enemies will always rush over these stairs, and B, we want to prevent them from rushing over these stairs. So we have 2 great reasons to drop a mine here, and we drop it even in a way that the enemies can't see it because it's hidden behind this little wood piece, and enemies won't be able to see it unless they're basically already stepped over it. So yeah, you see, this mine plays very great. And also windows, whenever you see windows, especially broken windows, always drop mines in there, because you already have a strong indicator that enemies are using this window. And the last thing, well, what if you only have anti-tank mines? Well, you can still drop them and use them against infantry. There are 3 great ways to do this. This is the easiest way. You find a door where you expect a group of enemies rushing, and you drop it next to the door. Now here I did it in the center, basically now I did it almost in the center. What you want to do is you want to do it more to the right, because our plan is to shoot at the mine. Now if the mine explodes, it's gonna kill every enemy in a quite large circle area or spherical area. If the mine is more to the right, enemies won't step over it and cover it with their feet. So you want to have it more to the right. I dropped it here already to the right, but it should be more to the right. So I missed it, it's too far left, but the principle works still. You drop the mine and you run away, and now you can just shoot at it. In real life you can't trigger a mine like that, the pressure is way too low, but in the game it works, and once a group of enemies runs over it, everyone's gonna be dead. Now other ways of finding good areas to drop mines is, for example here, I'm fighting behind these sandbags because it's safe, so we can assume enemies are also gonna use the spot a little bit later, so a good mine position would be obviously here. Now another position here is this doorway, because, well, enemies, if they want to drive, if they want to move around buildings, have to go through doors or windows, or this crater, because if you want to hide during a fight, you can just jump into this crater, or this doorway, or, and this is the best position in the whole game, you drop a mine exactly, well, maybe you guessed it already, exactly on an enemy rally point. Now, the reason for that is the following. Once the enemies spawn on the rally, they're gonna trigger the mine. So here we see the enemy rally, we drop a mine next to it, and now we just run away and we wait. You have to run away because if you're too close, the rally will be inactive. And you see what happened, look at the right side of the screen, 4 dudes spawned and triggered the mine and they exploded. And of course the rally point itself also exploded, so this is officially the best and strongest way to use anti-personnel mines. Drop them on enemy rally points and just blow them up. We have a similar situation here. Here we are attacking again and we are close to the objective and we found an enemy rally which is also extremely close to the objective, so obviously we're gonna mine it. And well, sadly we couldn't, this was a bot, he 180'd us with melee, usually only bots do it, but don't worry, everything is okay because exactly after the bot killed us, well, the rally point got free since there was no of our soldiers next to it, and an enemy team could spawn on it. So even if you get killed, it doesn't matter. Like, it's actually an advantage because you don't have to run away from the objective, and you see a whole 7-man group spawned on the objective and instantly just got obliterated. Exactly what we want. Now in this situation we are the defenders and we are running around trying to find enemy rally points. Now here, well, obviously there are some very obvious spots like hidden behind a wall of wood, so we quickly mine it, we run away to create a distance so the rally point becomes active, and in the meantime we do something reasonable by building an machine gun nest, and oh, what happened? Let's go back and now watch behind the screen, watch back into the enemy zone, and boom, exactly, it just exploded and 4 dudes died. And here you see how small the distance actually has to be. It's like 10 meters. You just need to go 10 meters away and enemies are gonna explode. Now, these were anti-personnel mines. Let's take a look at anti-tank mines. Now, the first thing you want to make sure is that the anti-tank mine isn't too easily visible. And there are lots of ways to do it. The easiest way is to drop it into water or in mud. And you see, literally invisible. Literally invisible. So, oh, what a coincidence. An enemy tank is already next to it. Now, you can do some more things if you want to lure the enemy tanks onto your mines. For example, you build barbed wire on top of it. Now, what does it make? Or what does it lead to? Well, basically no tank driver can resist driving over barbed wire. Yeah, so even if the tank would usually try to go left or right, in the anticipation of mines being exactly here in the center, he won't resist driving over barbed wire. Because he will think, okay, I can just destroy the barbed wire so it becomes easier for my infantry. Or if he plays together with other people, someone's gonna tell him, oh, here's barbed wire, you just drive over it. And yeah, exactly, he's gonna just destroy it. Same thing is true for sandbags. You can just build sandbags, and yeah, I chose to build barbed wire because obviously sandbags won't hinder enemy infantry, but well, barbed wire is going to do it. So yeah, now in such a position you obviously want to have like a triangle of anti-tank mines, so even if he goes left or right, you still get him. Now what does it look like if an anti-tank mine explodes? Well, it looks exactly like this. We placed our anti-tank mine and whoop, well, tank gone, sorry man. And the best thing is, here once again the mine was hidden, because look at the ground. Can you see the mine? Well, you know it has to be around these destroyed sandbags on the ground, but you literally can't see it. and neither can the tank. And yeah, he drives now over the sandbags, and yeah, there's absolutely no way for the tank to expect, not to see the mine. He could expect it, but what can he do? Well, literally nothing. He has to take the road. He can't even drive to the left, but guess what? A little bit more to the left is also an anti-tank mine. So no matter where he drives on the road, he's gonna inevitably explode. And if he tries to go to the right, he obviously is gonna fall into the water. So yeah, there's no way for him to avoid. He inevitably is gonna drive over a mine. And here we have a very similar situation. We have an enemy tank approaching, but guess what? This is, yeah, you see it, a street between two buildings. So obviously we're gonna place a mine there, because if a tank wants to get close to the objective, he has to drive exactly through this area. So we can expect a tank going there, and exactly this happens. Yeah, he drives over the mine and explodes. And if you want to look closely, there are 3 craters on the ground, and I placed the mine in the crater, so there's absolutely no way for him to see it, and yes, he explodes. So yeah, anti-tank mines, extremely effective. And the best thing, they destroy any tank in the game, so no matter how strong it is, he's gonna die. Now here we see the following trick. We want to get a tank with an anti-tank mine that's already in front of us. Now obviously he won't like it, so yeah. Also we had to go to the gray zone, where the enemy gray zone tank was annoying us. Now I'm dropping a mine in front of him. I could drop it next to him and shoot it, but I don't really believe I have time, because anytime I get shot, I only have 1 soldier left. The trick won't work. So in case he starts driving, most of the tankers are gonna start driving front. So I drop it in front of him. So once he starts moving, very likely he's gonna die. But we also did something else. Now let's take a look again. We see this tank, and we are in a hurry, and we want to blow him up quickly. And the safest way to make sure he dies is drop it in front of him. Now, well, in order to motivate him to drive ahead, I'm gonna drop a TNT pack behind him. The reason for that is the following. He won't exactly know where the pack is. He can't see it. But his mini-map is gonna show him, or his in-game map is gonna show him that there's a grenade behind him. So obviously he's gonna drive forward, and what happens? Exactly, he drives over the map. He drives over the tank mine and triggers it and blows up. Now this is like the fanciest way to make sure in a situation like this that the enemy tank dies. Also, you see the mine drops, and it has its couple of second countdown until it activates, but this is enough. You see it still. You saw the white circle. Let's do it again. We drop the mine, we drive backwards, and you see the white circle in the center of the screen, or half circle. Yeah, this is the mine still ticking, and I waited until the mine started, or got activated, and then I drew through the TNT pack, and now he drives over it and he dies. Now I promised you some really fancy tricks, and here you're gonna have them. I just defused the bomb, and no, I just planted a bomb, and I want to plant an anti-tank mine back there. But I'm getting rushed by enemies. Now what are we gonna do? Well, we're still gonna drop it, because exactly this is gonna happen. What happened is the following. I rushed outside with my anti-tank mine to drop it, and I had it in my hand, and I saw an enemy rushing with a TNT in his right hand. So I know if he releases it, it's inevitably gonna trigger my anti-tank mine. So instead of dropping it where tanks are driving around, I'm just gonna drop it here. He's gonna kill me, but his whole squad also dies. Well, actually, he also killed one of his own teammates indirectly, because, yeah. Yeah, so this is the easiest way to use anti-tank mines against infantry. Now let's look at a better way. Here we are in the Pacific, and we are planting... Well, we are defending a bomb from the enemies who try to plant it. Now, at the beginning of the video, I drop a mine outside. Now, this was the first mine. And now I'm going to drop another mine here. And we see one anti-tank mine, one normal mine. The anti-tank mine is a little bit more outside. And the anti-personal mine, let's take a look. The personal mine is to the left, and the anti-tank mine is more to the right. So the enemies don't instantly trigger the anti-personal mine. They already run deeper into the building, and then they trigger the anti-personal mine. And the anti-personal mine is going to trigger the anti-tank mine. And here, for good measure, we have just another mine. Now this is the first part of the preparation. The second part is you need to slow down the enemies. Also, we just want to have barbed wire around the actual destruction object so they can't just instantly start using it, so they get slower. And here comes the main preparation part. We build some tank blockers. Now what do? Well, they protect the mine actually from the enemies, because now they have to have more soldiers. They have to be statistically more soldiers there so they trigger and actually step on it. This leads to the situation that the enemies actually, well, the mine most likely only explodes when there's a group of enemies. And look what happened. A group of enemies came and we see two people died from an anti-personnel mine and 4 people died from an anti-tank mine. So with this trap we killed 6 people. And well, guess what? They won't be really in the mood to attack once again there, because they don't understand what happened. So yeah, to sum it up, what you want to do is drop 1 anti-tank mine close to the enemy and 1 anti-personnel mine close to your side. Then build lots of things that are slowing down the enemies. This barbed wire could... By the way, don't build the barbed wire on top of the mine, because if you build barbed wire on an anti-personnel mine, it becomes a trap, and if the enemy touches the barbed wire, he's gonna trigger the mine. So we don't want this. We actually want to make sure the mine doesn't get triggered by any random soldier. We want to make sure it only gets triggered when there are a bunch of soldiers already deeper into the actual objective. And we do exactly this by dropping these tank blockers and making sure there's a group of enemies running in. And we built a bunch of anti-tank blockers. Also, this barbed wire here, by the way, creates a tunnel, 1 left and 1 right. So the enemies have to go into a line, into the objective. And yeah, and this is the result of it. A very beautiful explosion.